Climate Commission has reported today that if we're to have a chance of stopping dangerous global warming, then most of the coal that's currently in the ground in Australia needs to stay there. Now, that poses an existential threat to a lot of the coal industry, but one that we in Parliament need to grapple with.
The Victorian Premier has said very clearly that at this stage he's not interested in signing up to a deal which would see more money going to every Victorian school. By contrast, his top priority now is to urge Tony Abbott to move harder and faster on industrial relations reform. We know when Conservatives talk about flexibility in the labour market, they're not talking about the flexibility of a mum to go and pick up a sick kid. They're talking about the flexibility of bosses not to be able to pay penalty rates.
The Gonski Report called for $6.5 billion of new spending every year in order to meet the recommendations of the report. This school funding model cuts spending by $325 million over the next 4 years. So the government isn't introducing the recommendations of the Gonski Report. The government has 3 jurisdictions out of 8 that have signed up to it. They are offering side deals and chicanery all around the country to try and bribe state governments into signing up. My hunch is that there won't be a national agreement, there won't be a national plan. What happens to legislation is a matter for the Senate this next fortnight. Yes. Well, I don't take much heart by the polls, whether they're very positive or whether they're very negative. The truth is that there are a litany of polls. All of them show that the public are thoroughly sick of the Labor Party and this government. All of them show that they want an adult in the room that puts the interests of the Australian people first.
And this is the time when Australians really want to deal with policy issues and not be confronted every day in the media with the soap opera which is the Labor Party leadership.
With the latest poll, you've got to wonder whether Coles will be sacking Status Quo for their advertising campaign, their Down Down campaign, and replacing it with the ALP. It's a pretty bad poll. I think the problem for the ALP is that they're damned if they change leaders, damned if they don't. So let's see what plays out in the next few days.
Labor can change leader, but the fundamentals remain the same. They are a divided and dysfunctional rabble that aren't putting the interests of the Australian people first.
I think it's very clear that Labor is the underdog in this election. You can see that in the polls, or you can see it from looking at the arrogance that Mr Abbott now has. He's clearly measuring up the curtains in the lodge. Mr Abbott, Mr Hockey, Mr Robb are going about bullying public servants in Treasury and Finance, pretty clearly saying if they don't get the budget numbers that they want, then heads will roll if an Abbott government was to win office. That sort of behaviour, I think, is arrogant, and it reflects the sort of sense of overconfidence that you get within the coalition.
Wouldn't Labor have a better